lounging, son.
All right, welcome back to the Comic Lounge. My name's Ryan,
And I'm Manny.
and we are a little late with this one. Thanksgiving and everything, the holidays kind of like hindered that, but we couldn't go without talking about this new Batman book, Batman Off-World by Jason Aaron, Doug Mahnke. First of all, I love Jason Aaron. I've loved Jason Aaron for a long time. He's one of my favorite writers. Wasn't necessarily like, I guess like maybe the tail end of his Marvel stuff, his Avengers. There was arcs that clicked with me, but not, not as much as like his Thor stuff, the Wolverine, the Punisher, Ghost Rider, all that stuff like was some of his stronger stuff in my opinion. But it was scalped at Vertigo that was like really what made me fall in love with his writing. And so
I'm also a big fan of Southern Bastards too.
Yeah. And to see him come back, I guess kind of come back because he was at Vertigo, not really DC proper, but to see him come to DC and finally like do some stuff is super exciting for me as a fan. And I'm sure I'm not the only one. So like he's going to be doing an arc in Action Comics, and like what else are we going to see from him? But this was a really, really dope start to his DC work. It's funny because I will be one of the ones that to complain like there's too much Batman. I always say that, like it's always a new Batman book, Batman this. I mean, if you look at some of the recent videos I've done over the past couple of months, it's like a Batman launch with the Gargoyle or the Raphael Grandpa, the City of Madness with Christian Ward. So there's constantly new Batman, but it's hard to not read them when they're good. It's like they keep putting good talent on these books, so I will continue to buy them. But this one, like, kind of like I didn't know what to expect. I think it's definitely a different Batman book than we're used to seeing. Because obviously, as you can see, he's with aliens. So I love,
like the whole concept is strong. It's like it's showing you like the very first time Batman fought out in space alone. You know what I mean? So this is probably, if you want to put it on a timeline, like maybe like shortly after Batman Year One, somewhere right after that. Like.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think it's pretty crazy because like he infiltrates this ship. He's doing it to kind of get training against. I mean, I guess you don't really see it, and it doesn't really like say it until towards the end of the book. But I mean, that's basically what he's doing. Is he wants to be able to go up against any force, and I think it's an interesting concept because often people are like, okay, Batman has no powers. What the fuck could he do against like a superpowered being? What could he do against Darkseid? And I think we've seen him. He went up against Darkseid in Final Crisis, so he is just always trying to get better, and that's what who Batman is at his core. And so to see him kind of come to this ship through, I mean, he sneaks on there, is now gonna like basically train.
And I mean, what a tough ass script, man. Jason Aaron really knows how to write like the your classic like tough as nails Batman, man. Like one of my favorite lines is when he gets his ship gets boarded by these two aliens. And you get all this great Batman inner monologue, and he's like, two aliens of a sort I've never seen, no idea as to their pressure points or pain centers, but they have faces. We'll start there.
Yeah, well, dude, I mean, look, I think I said this. I've definitely said this to some friends. Like I think Jason Aaron is at his best when he's writing a singular character's book.
Yeah.
As opposed to what you mean, as opposed to a team book. I don't know. It's just something about it. Like he just like he gets it, especially like these like lone wolf type characters, like Wolverine, Punisher, Ghost Rider, Batman. Thor could be kind of a lone wolf, kind of like solitary, where he doesn't really
Dashel and Scalp,
Exactly. Like, so I think he's at his best here. And I think it's interesting too, like that he chose for his Batman book to kind of take Batman out of his natural element, which is Gotham City, and put him in this like extraterrestrial world that he has nothing and no knowledge about. So you're taking Batman, who's normally like human perfection, and now taking away all his strength.
Especially this Batman at this point where he hasn't gone through like 1,000,001 like Justice League crises, and and has had very little experience with fighting aliens, and hasn't even been off-world, which is why the title of the book is off-world, because it's the first time he might have met a few aliens, judging by what he's by the inner monologue, but he definitely hasn't been outside of Earth yet.
Exactly. And and again, like that's what we'll see is like the whole catalyst for this, as we'll get to it towards the end of the issue, is that, he's kind of just coming into his own in Gotham, and then this extraterrestrial being comes there,
Showed up.
and then he has to figure out a way to like get better to be able to take him out. And Captain Sin is kind of the main
And
adversary of this. But it's
and
cool
by
because
the
like
way,
we're seeing aliens that we've never seen before. Like,
yeah, and speaking of like things we haven't seen before, like the art in this I thought was phenomenal, man. I mean, like Doug Mahnke has always been someone that delivers, like he's done a million and one amazing comics. He had the great series he did, the Swamp Thing series with Jeff Lemire, like for DC Black Label.
uh-huh.
But he just is killing it here, and then the colorist too is
Oh,
amazing in
David
this.
Barron, dude. David Barron, let's shout him out. He's one of my favorite
Yeah.
colorists, dude. I mean, he's actually the only colorist I've ever interviewed on my channel, or on the channel, I mean. It's interesting too, because like I asked the question, like, what's your favorite color to use? Like, I know it sounds kind of stupid to ask, but I
No, no.
did.
I mean,
And
that's probably one of the questions you should ask a
and
colorist.
he's like, he likes purples. He likes to
Oh, dude,
use purples,
yeah,
and you can
totally,
see it,
man.
right? And it's kind of interesting. And I think that him and being paired with Doug Mahnke is perfect. But like I go back to loving Doug Mahnke all the way to the Mask, when he was doing the Mask book
Yeah,
with
dude. I
John
mean,
Cody.
co-creator of the Mask. Yeah, I mean,
So
with John Accordi, so like,
so it's cool. And I also like, after I finish this issue, I I've been sitting on like the Green Lantern Omnibus, the Jeff Johns stuff on the second
yeah,
one, and that's when Doug comes onto the book. I was like reading that, I'm like, man, dude, like he's just so good. And I love all his stuff. And like in this, I just love the fact that they went like completely left field with this. Like,
yeah.
this is not the bat. Like, I complained about Batman books. I'm like, if you're gonna do it, at least make it different. And they did.
This is different, and just the design of all the different aliens and the robots and the ships is. I mean, it has a grit to it that I like. It feels like a lived-in sci-fi world, which are always my favorite. Like I like when you have space stuff that's a little gritty and worn. Like that that almost like a cyberpunk
Yeah.
kind of feel to it.
Again, and then it's like super bright, whereas Batman
Hmm.
books are normally super
But
dark.
it's still gritty. It's
Yeah.
not like overly poppy. Like there's still because of Doug Mankey's like line work. There's a lot of weight to the images.
And they also like, he keeps Batman kind of in shadows for the most
He
part. Like
does,
his face.
yeah.
I mean, he's got a fucking chainsaw.
Dude, that was one of my favorite panels, man.
I was like,
When I bought this last week, I posted about it on social media because I was so excited about it,
yeah.
and that was one of the panels I took a picture of because I was like, dude, he just like I love that he realizes, all right, so these are robots, right? So Batman's like, all right, so my no killing creed doesn't count here, so he just goes buck fucking wild, chopping these robots in half, and
I know, and I love that he keeps talking. He keeps mentioning like his inner dialogue, like he's out of his element, way out. With little
yeah,
to no intel to go on. He's and again, he even says the only one here who's human is me, and he's focus on my training. Remember what it is I've become. And he's like, they don't know a bat, they've never seen one, so like they don't know to fear that, which is kind of interesting, right?
I
Like,
love the line though. It's like they don't know to fear the Batman, not
yeah,
yet. Like
yeah,
he's
dude,
like, yo, they will.
that pose
It
right there
reminds
is
me of like
awesome.
a great line in Grant Morrison's JLA when the White Martians like take down the League
Yeah.
and they leave Batman for last because like they're like, oh, he's only human, and the rest of the League is like, yeah, you guys might have fucked up there.
It
Like,
also reminds me of the time when I think it's the Injustice League takes over the Watchtower, and
yes,
Batman is like left with nothing, and he systematically takes out
yeah, it's
people.
like Die Hard style.
Yeah.
He goes after them.
And another thing I have to say is that I love that with Jason Aaron coming to DC, he's working with creators he hasn't worked with before. Because some of these artists, like, when have you seen Doug Mahnke at Marvel?
I mean, if
I
he's
don't even
worked
know
on
if
it, I can't think of it.
exactly. And then he's going to be working with John Timms, right, on Action Comics. What other pairings are we going to get to see? Like, I think
Yeah,
Jason Aaron and Doug Mahnke is such a good creative team to be put together.
yeah,
And
man, it really is. This is
I just
very,
love
very, very
this.
good.
The way that Doug Mahnke draws Batman, like he draws him with such weight and bulk, but not
Yeah,
like super bulky. Like, like not Frankie
Still, like you
Bobo.
can, yeah. I mean, it's exaggerated enough because it's a comic, but like you said, there's still, it's still kind of grounded, and like it's important to ground him in this kind of a crazy story because you're talking about the first time he's experiencing this. So as a reader, you want to sort of be on the same emotional level that Batman is here, you know, and it works. I mean, it wouldn't work if the visuals were over the top. It would just the juxtaposition would be too much. But like this is Doug Mahnke and Jason Aaron are really working in tandem, and it's like a very, very, very good pairing.
This Captain Sin comes up, show me why you deserve to scrub the toilets on my warship. And then Batman just has these like electric, like brass knuckle type things and throws a punch, and the dude's not even phased. Oh my God, dude. And then Batman just wakes up having had the ship beat out of him. And now he's going to be basically a slave on this ship, right? Because
Yeah,
these are all mercenaries that they train them to be
yeah,
mercenaries. I like this Tamarinian. He says Starfire from Teen
yeah,
Titans. So I love this design too, how she has like these like purple tattoos that kind of have almost
yeah,
like a glowing
yeah. She
quality
looks
to
like a
them.
badass, man. You know, like,
Yeah.
and that's cool that they chose that alien race. You know, it gives you know, it gives you like a bigger connection to the DCU.
Yeah. Because otherwise it's like you're not really seeing like the rest of the alien races, you're not really seeing like the typical ones that you would recognize. I do like this, like, he's now trapped and he's like, he even asked like, where did you learn English? And like somehow he was implanted within that time frame with this like chip that allows them to understand each other. And I love that she's just like, she calls him Bird Boy. And she like just I like this like scene right here where she's like, listen, you're locked up with the rejects, and once you don't cut it to be a war stormer, they only keep you around till they need some poor suckers to shovel asteroids out of the turbines. Like it just feels like this like gritty sci-fi mixed with kind of like western almost,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah. You know, a bit of a prison story too. You know,
Yeah.
like he's being locked up.
6 weeks he's been locked up. I love that. Look, it's been 6 weeks, or no, it's been 6 weeks since Wayne Enterprises purchased a prototype long range shuttle from Star Labs under the guise of developing a commercial space flight business. He paid
I'd take it.
$532 million for a one-way trip. Like, this is crazy. Like, only Batman would be able to do that, like,
Yeah.
throw millions
Basically,
of
it's
dollars
like
away.
he's this is all like one giant training exercises.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, there's a reason that he's doing this, and we find that out at the end. But a lot of it really is for him to be able to resolve an issue.
It's it's pretty insane, dude. It's pretty insane what he's willing to do. This scene right here with the Warstorm ship just going through space. Look at the
Yeah,
fucking
with like a
colors here,
nebula in
dude.
the back, and yeah, again, dude. And I think you and I have said it before. Like we don't see enough magenta in comics, and like it's all over this. And that I think that's what attracted to me so much too is the colors, man. You know, like I love it when colors stand out, but they're not distracting. You know, like, and this is a perfect example of colors that make the images pop, but don't take away from the weight, don't take away from the grit of this story. In
Mm.
fact, they're just an added bonus.
How about this combat training robot as it's getting killed? Congratulations, you've successfully murdered me. And then
Yeah, that
Batman takes the bot and then takes him to train him. Dude, it's fucking dope. There's
yeah.
just so much
And
cool
there's
shit
still
going on.
some moments of levity and dark humor in here too, which is that's Jason Aaron. You know, like he can't help but like have a little bit of like dark humor in his stories.
No, it's just I think it's so great. And I think that throwing you into where, yeah, as we started talking about this, we talked about the ending and why Batman's here, but you're just thrust into this and you're slowly getting bits and pieces of how he came to be here and why he came to
Yeah.
be here. But I think it's a really solid first issue. And I think that,
Oh, it is, man. I mean, I was already curious, but like as soon as I mean, I was gonna pick it up anyway, but I was once I saw the issue, I was like, extremely excited, and it became one of the first things I wanted to read as soon as I got home.
no,
And the
I
printing
think
is
this was
really
the
good.
first thing
The
I read
comic
for
feels
sure.
really good. You know, it doesn't feel like shoddy. You know, and good price point still $3.99. Like you're getting a quality book here for $4, which is, I mean, it's a lot, but that's really all you can. You know, that's probably one of the cheapest things you can get in
Yeah.
comics now.
And I love, we get back in Gotham and this is where we
Yeah,
see his first interaction with Sin. And it's just like, and you don't even, it doesn't even explain like why he's there. Like, why is this
No,
dude here? You know, he's just, Batman's fighting
he's from
you know,
way out of
mobsters.
town.
Yeah, Batman's fighting some mobsters, and then he looks up and this dude, this alien's just there, and you see him throw a punch, and that's it. So he's never scared of anybody, and he's, even though he
No,
knows he's outmatched, throws that punch, and then boom, we flash back to the ship, and he's training.
I always love the shirtless Batman with a mask. Like, it's like a nod to Neil Adams.
Yeah, like
It's
when he
always been
was
one of
fighting Ra's al Ghul.
Rich
Yeah,
Go. Yeah, yeah, the hairy chested Batman from back in the day.
I love how the Tamaranian, he's laying there and she's like, I wonder if all the flightless birds back home are as screwy as this one. Because she just thinks he's insane for doing what he's doing.
Yeah,
And
I
then
think she's
like,
kind of into him though.
yeah, oh, she's, yeah. I mean, I think there's a cover where they're making out on the cover. So
Yeah, so
I
he's gonna
love
go
this
all
too.
Captain Kirk and make out with the alien.
So I love like this 4 panel thing right here at the end where he does get that punch thrown at him back in Gotham, and then you see him when he's on the ship when he first confronts Sin, and now he's like, I'm
Yeah,
not anywhere close, not yet.
that's
As he's
great storytelling, man, and a great
yeah.
place to end it.
Oh, dude, phenomenal. It's so good, dude.
Yeah,
It's crazy that, again, as much as I complain that there's too much Batman, they're putting out some really good Batman comics. You know,
and this
sometimes
is
it
a
feels
great
like,
book to recommend. Again, someone that wants to be reading like contemporary Batman stuff and like doesn't want to be bogged down by continuity. Like this still takes place firmly in the DCU. You really don't need to know more than who Batman is to enjoy this. It's like, oh, Batman's like first time and space. I mean,
yeah.
anyone can pick this up and enjoy it.
Yeah, I kind of like this better than I've been liking the regular Batman ongoing, if I'm being
I mean,
completely
that's
honest.
you're not the first one to mention stuff like that with some of these series. So I mean,
Yeah. And
I am not reading Batman, the regular Batman titles currently, but I
I
can tell
like,
you that like it'd be hard to top this.
yeah, I like the Chip Zdarsky stuff, like for the most part. I don't know. I'm not connecting with it like I did with his Daredevil run. I know there's a couple storylines that seem kind of intriguing that are coming out that haven't, but like the Gotham War with Catwoman to me kind of fell flat. Like there was a couple cool moments, but overall as a story, it didn't really grab me. Like the Detective Comics run by Ron V, I think is a little more what I'm looking for in a Batman book. But these miniseries that they've been coming out with, like this one's dope. I love that it is, I'm not saying it's out of continuity, but it's not current continuity. So it's not like bogged
Right.
down by all this other shit going on. So I highly recommend it. I think, a lot of the Batman miniseries that have been coming out, the Black Label stuff have been really good too. So, go pick this up and,
Yeah.
make sure you stay on the lookout too for the Action Comics by Jason Aaron, because I'm sure that's going to be pretty dope. I know we'll be talking about it.
Oh
And
yeah.
make sure you like, follow, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you're notified every time a new vid drops. And on that note, we're out.
We'll see you next time, guys.